Hello, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal. How would you decide which universities to apply for solely based on your GRE score? That is it, solely based on that. There is a method. Now you may ask, many universities have waived their GRE requirement. How do we know if this method will work for those universities? To that, I would say yes, you're right. Kudos to you, you did your research. Many universities have waived their GRE requirement, but the catch is they still look for the same caliber in their students while making their admission decisions. They still want a student who has same or better profile than their existing students. If you have a strong profile, good GPA, a degree from good university, you have some experience up your sleeve, and you also have some extracurricular to add to your profile, then you may not need to give GRE. I'm saying may. But if that is not the case and you want to be carefree about this GRE requirement, you should sit for the GRE exam. Having said that, in this video we are focusing on which universities to apply for solely based on your GRE score. There are many other factors that go into the decision-making process. There's location, weather, scholarships, TA and RA positions, friends and family, proximity to a certain city if you want to live like closer to Silicon Valley or some other city. There are many other things. But in this video, we are solely going to focus on GRE. You can definitely add those extra factors as a criteria, but they'll be explained in another video. First up, a little introduction. Who am I and why should you listen to me? I'm an application developer and I work in Chicago. I did my master's in computer science from California and I've been working in USA since 2016. I applied for PhD in USA and Canada and I ended up getting admits from 3 universities in USA and 2 in Canada, but then I changed my mind and I continued working. So I've gone through the application process during masters and then PhD. I know the hiccups of this process. Now to the main point. There are 2 main steps to decide the universities based on GRE score. Number 1, categorize. Number 2, fill. In the categorize step, we pick 3 main categories for the types of universities to pick. The categories are ambitious, highly likely, and safe. Let's take an example of both categorizing and filling. Let's assume that I got 315 as my overall GRE score, including verbal and quantitative, and I got 4 in analytical writing. According to this, I will fill in the universities with GRE requirement a little higher than 315 in the ambitious category. I would put the universities with GRE score of 317 to 319 in this category. I would choose universities based on my profile and research a few profiles from LinkedIn of past students who have been admitted to these universities in the past 2 to 3 years. These universities are not really taking my GRE score, but because I have a good overall profile, I'm taking a calculated risk by applying to these universities. I would then fill in the universities taking 315 to 316 kind of GRE score in the highly likely category, which is my second category. I meet the GRE requirement, so it's highly likely that these universities will send me an admit letter. In the safe category, I would put in the universities taking 312 to 314 as their GRE requirement. These are the ones in which I can get in for sure. If you feel that you have lesser chances in the ambitious category, you can keep fewer universities in it. Keep more universities in highly likely category. If you feel that you can get into the universities in the highly likely category for sure, by all means, get rid of the safe category. Feel free to customize these buckets, change them according to your requirements. This method of categorizing the universities and filling in the universities according to your GRE score will really narrow down your list and you'll be able to get more admits out of it. The goal is to make it to the university in ambitious category. If you're not able to make it to an ambitious university, you have more chances in highly likely category. If you're not able to make it to a university in highly likely category, you shouldn't be able to make it to a safe university because the GRE requirement is much lower than your GRE score. This method of categorizing and filling is a very fail-safe method. Will get better results if you apply for 9 to 10 universities and categorize 10% in ambitious, 70 in highly likely, and 20 in safe. 2 in ambitious, 5 in highly likely, and 3 in safe, assuming that you're applying for 10 universities. But everyone has their own constraints, so feel free to change the buckets, feel free to apply for less or more, whatever saves your boat. All of this is easier said than done, right? So in the description, I'm providing a website link of generic overall GRE score of US universities. You will still need to go to the university's website, to the exact department, and look for the GRE requirement for the most recent intake season that you're applying for. You should also look for few alumni on LinkedIn for the university that you're planning to apply for. Find out what their experiences were like. Do they recommend the university? Do they recommend the department? I've also seen that the student body in many of the universities have their own international Facebook groups. So you can ask to join those groups, and they are a great resource. You can find a lot of people from your department in those groups, and you can ask questions in the group. Reaching out to people that you don't know is kind of like cold calling, but it works. This method can be used if you're applying for universities in one country. If you are thinking of applying to different countries, you can still use this method of categorization. You'll just use it by following the world rankings in that case. Choosing the right universities takes a lot of time, effort, research, and networking. I get it. So sit tight, set your timeline, take one task at a time, and go for it. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know how you categorize the universities based on this method. Ciao, फिर मिलेंगे. You can still use this method. You should also search for some alumni.